afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Mad Realm's Talking Skritt. I'm your host, Jim, and it's the year of the ox. It's Lunar New Year Festival is here. We've got a few other things, but first, let me get to my fellow hosts. She streams over on MMORPG.com on Twitch. I have to make sure I get the com in there. New year, new roar. Say hello to Arlie.
Hey! I actually kind of like that intro.
New year, new roar. Okay. I wanted to keep it short and sweet, which sadly is not so short for our other host. Say hello to Age. Well, he streams over on Twitch where he answers the age-old question: if 2020 was approximately 4 decades, is it really still the year of the ox?
Hey, I can be sweet. Feels bad, man.
Well, no, I said your intro wouldn't be short.
Oh, okay.
And I know you can be sweet. You're a wonderful man.
Yay!
Just as long as you're not covered in bees.
Hmm.
That's a Little Nicky reference for anybody who's
Wow.
watching.
So if 2020 was approximately, what, 4 decades?
4 decades.
4 decades.
Yeah.
Is it still the year of the ox?
Oh, wait, he's doing the math.
I don't know. I just woke up, man.
No, I get it.
Age.
I don't like doing math early in the morning either. I've heard of that alarm clock where you have to solve like 5 math problems in order to get it to turn off.
What? I would break it. Oh my god.
That's the number of people I have talked to that have just said that would be in pieces on the floor after the first day. And I just, yeah, no, I'd be basically there with them. But
5 is too much.
yeah. Well, I think you can change the number, but I feel like you would need, like, in order for it to actually do its job, it would have to be more than 1. But
I would do 1 to start, and then
Yeah.
just slow increment.
I was gonna say, especially when I first wake up, like I take an hour to actually wake up. It takes me that long just to transient from the sleep to being actually awake. So like just doing 1 to get the alarm to go off would take a bit.
yeah. But I don't have any witty transition for sleeping into the Lunar New Year, but the Lunar New Year Festival is back.
Yay!
It is active until February 23rd at noon Pacific time. The Lunar New Year annual meta achievement, the Lunar New Year Customs, has been updated with a new reward, the Lunar Enchanted Gloves. Last year's meta achievement reward, the Fireworks Spoilers, can now be purchased from the Lunar New Year vendors. A new weapon set is available, the Fortune Shining Aureate set. The Celestial Challenge activity has been overhauled with updated goals, with many of the events having been updated and rebalanced, including new special action skills for events that did not have them before. A new achievement has been added for participating in each event of the Celestial Challenge. The Lucky Envelope rewards have been updated for the Year of the Ox. There is a Year of the Ox backpack. New Guildhall decorations for the Year of the Ox. And finally, one thing to get us off into things. A person on Reddit was not so fond of the further breakdown on how to earn envelopes. In 2016, you could buy 16 red envelopes a day. Then it became you can buy 8 envelopes a day, and you also need to do the dailies to get tokens to buy the other 8 envelopes. Now, it's you can buy 8 envelopes a day, and you also need to do dailies to get tokens, and also some of those tokens are token fragments, for which you need 8 of those fragments to combine to one token. Now, I did read further into that particular Reddit thread, and somebody made the recommendation of, wait a second, we need to go further. We need to get token bags, fragments of bags, for bags of token fragment bags. So the rabbit hole just goes and goes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's...
I think the whole purchasing the bags with tokens is just to make sure people actually participate in the event instead of just rolling up, spending their gold, and logging off.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm doing that anyways. No.
You're just taking the 50% on the bags and just not bothering.
I'll take my 50%. Yeah.
That's fair. I've been doing the events, but I don't know. I bought my 8 bags for today. I don't know if I'll get to them before the reset at 7. But
I should do some of the events. Like, I don't think I've actually participated in a New Year festival in like 5 years at this point.
it's
It's
easy to forget. Oh my god, why is this potato quality? Okay, hang on a second. I need to... Because I was going to talk about the new weapon skins after we finish talking about the, like, actually participating. I think I would go to the Guild Hall instead of Lion's Arch, because...
Oh.
Yeah, I'm in Lion's Arch, so everything's loading in at potato quality.
Mm-hmm.
But, for opening the envelopes, it's what? Go to Silver Wastes at the end of everything?
The end of everything.
Yeah, let's stack everything.
Yeah, okay.
It was during, I believe it was World versus World tournaments. There was a bonus there too, but since those don't happen, you just do silverways instead.
I was gonna say, do people still do silver wastes at all?
They probably will with this being up, so...
Oh, that's probably, yeah, I should do that, because I think there's still one Mordrum cart I need. I never did.
Oh my god. Yeah, I think I'm actually... I don't have... I think I mentioned that last time, was I don't have the... Well, it's still kind of potato quality, but I think that's just because it's a launch weapon skin. Anyway, so we're talking about... I wanted to talk about the new weapons. So I'll transition onto the side panel here, where I have my client running in the background. Hopefully it's not screwing the quality of the stream. So this is the standard Aureate sword. They gave us the Shining Aureate Rinblade, which this is the version of it that we could get previously. And then they also gave us the refitted Aureate Rinblade, which is literally just the cleaned up graphics and nicer colors without the particle effects. But this is now the Fortune Shining Aureate Rinblade. We've got the little sparks and stuff coming off of it. So it's the same thing as the refitted, same base model as that and the Shining one, but it's a much grander, I guess you could say, spell effect on it. So, I think, where's the shield? Because normally with the shield you can get a better... Look, there's a refitted shield. Wow! I've never looked at the shield. The shield is very bright. Wow. There's the regular one, and there's the Fortune... Wow, the Fortune Shining one looks like it's about to go, like, super critical.
Yeah.
That's a little much.
Is that a shield?
Yeah, that's the shield. It's not the focus, it's the shield.
It seems kind of small.
Oh, well, I have it just... If I go wielded. It's a smaller shield, but it's certainly not the smallest shield that's available.
Oh, yeah.
Buckler shield. Oh no, it's decent size.
Yeah, it just by itself.
Yeah, it was kind of... And I still am very disappointed that we don't see a Shining Aureate version of the spear, because the Aureate spear is pretty badass, actually. Give me spears on land, damn it. Anyway, thoughts on our brand new particle effects here?
Pretty cool.
The sparks and the sparky stuff.
I think it looks good, but it's not too much, you know?
It's very toned down. I mean, kind of like the original, like, Shining Aureate ones.
Yeah.
Okay. No, ZeKrioX, we have not hit more re-releases than Skyrim. This is only the 4th iteration of this set.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have at least 2 more iterations to go through.
Yeah. Over the course of 12 years, I want to say. And also, you know, the Xbox and the PS5 are out, so there's probably going to be another version of Skyrim released there.
Yeah.
And I understand Hat's opinion of the meh. I mean, if you don't like the particle effects, I'm not a huge fan of the orange. Like, I was actually going to use the greatsword, but, like, that bright orange on the hilt just does not go with the blue that I'm dealing with here. And nah.
Yeah, it would be nice if you could, like, dye the hilt to be a different color or something.
Or if the hilt was just a different color. Still, I like the cleaned up appearance because I think it was like supposed to be leather on the original, but then it just turned into like some kind of painted enamel, and it just looks a little too bright for a weapon. But there was one other bit of gear that we got added as an armor skin, and I'm going to go heavy. Oh, crap. I can't remember what it's called. Gloves.
It's Lunar Enchanted Gloves.
Yeah, there we go. So, the Lunar Enchanted Gloves. And you're probably wondering, Jim, where's the effect? It's because it's bugged in the the equipment preview window, and you actually have to go into your wardrobe, and you can't even see it here. You actually have to fully equip it. So as you can see, even in the equipment pane, I have to actually spend the charge for it.
Oh wow!
And there it is. Let me get out to an area where there's light as the giant rock in the sky blocks the sun. Really? So as that's it. That little starburst that disappears if you look sideways at the gauntlets. That's the effect.
It's a really interesting effect, I have to say.
It's an interesting effect. I'm just kind of disappointed that it's a 2D plane.
Oh, red access.
Yeah.
Like a Doctor Strange type of deal.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, and I didn't even think of that angle. That's pretty cool. But it's just I kind of wish it was not a I wish it was more of an orb and not a
Oh,
I like that though. It's kind of really unique.
It's definitely cool to have, and I'm glad they added it. It's just it was not quite what I was thinking when they went for it. So now I'm going to have to turn this back before I forget. Set that back up. And that, the Lunar, that is from the festivals, customs. So you do 5 of 5. You get light, medium, and heavy when you unlock one of them.
Oh, good.
So you have to do 5 of the 6 here, and you get all 3 of the skins for light, medium, and heavy, and you're all set. You only get
I like when they do that.
You only get one item though that comes out as celestial, which makes sense.
Right.
But then you have to deal with other stuff. But other than that, what we got left for Lunar New Year?
job.
Challenges. I'm guessing, Arlie, you said you haven't done anything, and I can probably pop back to the main.
Yeah. Long time.
Yeah. And then Age, you said you're not even bothering. You're just buying your 8 envelopes and dipping.
Yep.
I should do stuff.
I've run. I do like 3 rounds of the Celestial Challenge activity. It takes 15-20 minutes to do 3 rounds. So
It's not bad.
And one of the things that they changed with it is if you have the most contribution for each round. Okay, so it takes place up in the I can't remember the name of that plaza in Divinity Breach, where it has the giant solarium with the whole mobile and everything. Y'all know where I'm talking about. All the events take place there, like they have been. After you finish all of the events, or every time you finish an event, you get a buff. And there's 6 events that roll through. If you get the most participation for a given event, you get 2 stacks of that buff.
Okay.
So at the end of it, there's a big chest that shows up in front of the door to the throne room. And then the 12 zodiac animals are standing in an arc around that chest, and they all have extra chests in front of them. And you can open as many of the zodiac animal chests as you have stacks of that buff.
Okay.
So you get a minimum of 6 for doing a full round. And I think the most I've ever gotten was 8, even though I'm pretty sure I got 3 or 4 most participations. So I think it caps at a certain
Okay.
point. So I don't think you can ever open all 12 by yourself.
Right.
But I mean, they've got combat, they've got traversal stuff, they've got the events seem to be much more involved and less, I guess, annoying than they were previously. Because I remember some of the events just seemed meh. And all of the special action keys are pretty interesting. Like the snake event, and it now has a blink, which I think is literally blink from a mesmer. It's like a 1200 teleport, which is nice. I no longer have anything to talk about because y'all haven't done it.
I know. I feel bad. Like, literally, I can't remember the last time I did New Year. I'm guessing.
The one thing that the reason I was looking, I was like, I should really do this is because you can apparently make bank with
I
the
know.
envelopes. So
Yeah. That's why I was like, I really should do it this year because, I'm working on that legendary and I want to get it done. But like, I think that's part of the reason why I haven't done it in so long. Like, the main thing about doing it is that you get gold. In general, that's not a motivating factor.
yeah, no, I understand that. H, since you've done the hard farming for the envelopes before, right?
As in, just like do
you've done the min maxing on the luck and making sure you buy all the divine envelopes.
Yeah.
What's the
I
kind of
have.
return that you get for that?
Well, I just have one character that has like all the magic finds, and the magic find, the trinket and stuff like that. Let's see. I think. Oh, my magic. My magic find last year was around 260 plus. I think it was around. I want to say 500-ish, 600-ish, but the return I got was 8 envelopes last year, so plus the alt account, and then I'm trying to think of a percentage return. So I think at like minimum I would get like maybe 20%.
That's not bad.
So I think like maybe twice or 2 or 3 times a week I would get like definitely profit, but I would mostly make my money back if anything, or a small profit. So like if you luck out, you get like 8 golds out of one of the envelopes. So the return on that would be pretty much double each times, but like if it's 2-3 times a week, again, math.
I mean, I was just looking for like a rough ballpark if it was really worthwhile to like go hard for the envelopes. So
Do the math. Hold on.
Okay.
6.
It's the principle of the matter now.
So assuming you get at least 2-3 times a week, you get like one of the ones that doubles an envelope, you get at least 50% of your profit around, plus like the small profit, I guess.
Okay. So you manage to get 2 or 3 of those 8 gold drops a week, and you're pretty good. That's pretty cool.
I mean, like, yeah, you make a profit off of them if you pump all the magic find stuff. So like you'll make a profit no matter what, as long as you have the magic find.
Okay, well that's good. I suppose closing out for all of this. I am kind of disappointed that we went from just full tokens to fragments of tokens. I was kind of annoyed by
Yeah.
that.
That's ridiculous. I'm
'Cause
sorry.
I'm going to have them left over. Because you can turn full tokens in for little envelopes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember how many off the top of my head, but it's free. Like, it's just token for envelopes. You don't have to pay extra money on top of it like you have to for the divine envelopes. But the token fragments, I don't dig. But that's really it for Lunar New Year, unless any of you have final thoughts before we move on to the next parts of the patch.
I'm good.
Cool.
I'm good. Yeah.
So there were 4 minor profession updates. Engineer AED fixed a bug that prevented Gadgeteer traded version of this skill from triggering the Speed of Synergy trait. Yay, bug fix. Revenant Soulcleave Summit fixed a bug that caused the life-stealing effect to trigger on some invisible attacks, which I'm going to assume is... Invisible attacks are stuff that proc, like, what's the Soul Beast one wolf pack, where you attack and then it automatically procs another attack. So I'm going to assume Soulcleave Summit was causing lifesteal on those extra attacks that have no animation, that have no tell. So I can understand why they'd want to turn that.
So they're basically getting too much lifesteal out of it.
Or just too many procs of it, because I mean, lifesteal isn't crazy powerful for the classes that offer it, but I mean, it's still, you end up stacking it like that. It can be a little ridiculous. And then Necromancer had 2 tooltip stuff only. Well of Blood, tooltip bug that caused it to display inaccurate healing values, and Lich Form updated the skill description and tooltip to include attribute increases granted while transformed. However, they did not nerf Lich Form 1, which it kind of needs it, because Lich Form 1 in PvP is really, really, really fluffing strong.
Nah, it's fine.
When I'm seeing 5k crits in PvP, it's not a thing that's supposed to be happening anymore.
Hey, at least it's not 10k, you know?
That's a thief. That's a whole thief.
Yeah.
As much as I dislike having to deal with thieves running around, I don't think I should deserve to be able to one-shot them. Like, literally one-shot them.
Yeah.
But that's it for profession updates. No, nothing crazy. I know normally we get kind of a big balance update at the start of the year. Maybe we see that at the end of by the end of February. I don't know. But I actually don't have too many problems with the balance of the game right now.
Yeah.
Age, I don't know if you've gotten back into PvP lately. What do you think we need a huge balance patch lately, or is it just more of a shake things up kind of deal that we need?
I heard Guardians are really good right now. I don't know how accurate that is, but and I think the most flexible profession I've been seeing lately is just Ranger, just because you could play pretty much any spec right now, and it feels good. So I guess that's good.
Yeah, I mean,
it's good that you have the flexibility.
I've actually been seeing an awful lot of core of every profession in PvP lately.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, though.
Yeah.
Well, for Thief in particular, I think core is just the best way to go right now. Just Daredevil feels a little awkward. Like, the dash is really good, but Steel just being gimped the range, it doesn't feel good till you use it. So it's just best to play core.
Oh, that was the nerf they gave to Daredevil, right? They knocked the range on Steel down.
Yeah, and the Deadeye's like okay, but you just can't get high use out of it. That was odd that they're left at that time, but it's like you can't get good use out of it in PvP, in my opinion, just because like you can't use rifle and just the delay on the the Deadeye mark is you kind of have to make it worth it. So it's more like a gimmicky build that you would make for
I've
one
actually
shotting.
seen a couple of Deadeyes lately.
Not a bad idea.
I mean, it's not hard. It's harder to use, but I wouldn't use it in high level PvP.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only gold 1 or gold 3. Yeah, that's right. It goes up. Gold 3, plat 1. So I don't know. That's definitely not high end for me. So I don't think I'll be sitting in plat anytime soon. But well, let's maybe we'll see the standard update in PvP. So since we're kind of off of that, there have been some Gemstore updates. Okay. And the thing is, I actually think the big update here, the Noble Aurochs skin, is pretty freaking cool. This is a new Jackal skin. As I mute my mic because my dog is going ballistic at something.
I really kind of like that.
Yeah,
They wanted to get the Lunar New Year skin on someone, I guess.
I mean, it's solid. I don't think we got a rat skin, did we?
Was that the creep rat jackalope thing? That was the Springer?
Oh God, no. Ugh. Let's not talk about that thing.
It's available.
We're not going to talk about that. Yeah, you're actually going to pick it up, Tavik. That's cool.
I was going to say, it looks really kind of cool.
They put a lot of work on modeling the horns, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, I have to say, I think it would be funny to see a giant ox, like, bamfing forward like the jackal does.
I have to wonder what the... since this is another 1600 gem skin, I have to wonder what the teleport animation is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because all of the more expensive mounts tend to have animation particle changes to their movement skill. So that'd be interesting to see. Maybe it's an explosion of gold coins. Oh, and Tavik is saying it's a bit bigger than the standard Jackal, so probably won't look as bad on Char and Norn.
Oh, yeah, it definitely.
I will say that a Char on a Jackal does look weird. So there is that. We do have a few other things coming in with this, including the Wandering Cloud chair, which before I need to make sure that's on, and then I transition that in. Which, you know, if you wanted to go all Goku with this, that's basically what we're looking at. It's just the wrong color, but you know, if you can dye the cloud properly.
Yeah. It's kind of nifty, to be honest.
Chala, hey chala. Sorry.
It's okay. I understand. It's cool looking. The particle effects are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to admit, like it's one of the things that they've been doing a pretty good job with is the particle effects on things lately.
Yeah.
So the art department's doing a damn fine job with this. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what just comes into the game with End of Dragons. So
Particle effects for days.
yeah. But that's that. And then we did also get finally a brand new Black Lion ticket set, the Bright Inquisitor set.
Interesting. It's kind of a yellowish, greenish glow.
Yeah. I'll wait for the shield to come up. It's actually really cool looking.
That greatsword kind of looks cool.
I like it how it actually has like a basket hilt going in there. It was weird to see a basket hilt on a greatsword, but you know. And that's the mace again.
I like the longbow too.
Yeah.
That almost looks like a longbow you could use as a bladed weapon too if somebody got too close to you.
Just somebody shows up, you just beat them with
Yeah.
it. Oh, there's the shield coming up.
Ah. Oh yeah, that's nice. I like the touches with red and the green.
That's actually the rifle of all things. I actually like the rifle because it where the red accents are to it, it actually looks like it's a well taken care of, like leather wrapped grip.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's coming up here after the offhands.
I was gonna say I saw it a little bit earlier.
But
the dagger kind of looks like it's a nice wrapped dagger or hilt.
But so other than just to go over the rest of the stuff, Noble Aurochs skin, the bull jackal skin, 1,600 gems, limited time, so stuff returning for Lunar New Year. Staff of Fortune skin, the Celestial Rat Cape, the Celestial Rooster Glider, and the Flying Boar Glider, and then the Ram Balloon and the Red Lantern are all back.
Mm-hmm.
Kurzik stuff? Okay, Zach. Having not actually played factions, I'm not really up on that.
Yeah.
The Black Lion chest got an update. The Wandering Cloud chest. The guaranteed item is an Evan Nashblade Lucky Envelope. You can get that Wandering Cloud Chair and Glider from it. You can get the Noble Aurochs from it. And there is apparently the Tempest Gaze Helm skin, which I didn't find an image for. Stone plus stained glass. Yeah, you got a point, Gift. I dig it. The Dragon's Jade and Dwayna weapon collections are now in the BLC. And then the Glyph of the Crucible and the Glyph of Volatility. I don't know what the Glyph of the Crucible does, but Glyph of Volatility is the one that gives you volatile magic from your gathering items. And then Black Lion statuettes, the Dark Matter Cape, the Storm Dagger skin, the Desert King Throne, and the Searing Chain Gloves have been added to the Black Lion statuettes. So, anything catch your eye, folks?
I'd be tempted about the axe, but I already really like jackal skins I have.
It's understandable. I don't think I'd be tempted away from the ones I've got either. So, Crucible gets mats of a lower tier than what you strike. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, okay.
Sorry to interrupt, Age. What was that?
Yeah, it's just the Wandering Cloud is pretty good as a glider.
Yeah.
That and Dragon Ball fans are.
How much was the cloud?
It's in the.
It's in the box.
It's in the box.
Oh. So you can't buy it.
Yeah. So at least you can get an Asura, put him in orange.
Yes.
Oh, there is Goku hair actually, so you can just.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can get the Super Saiyan hair.
Yep.
Dye it the appropriate color.
Right. I think there's armor, light armor that generally has the right shape. You can dye it all orange too.
Too bad we don't have any specs that do bare hand fighting.
Yeah.
With energy blasts. Yet. But I'm going to assume that you're not going to gamble on the chest just to get this.
No.
Yeah.
I like the key farm.
Oh, come on. There's nothing wrong with like getting 50 or something keys to try and get one particular thing.
I don't know.
Perfect plan.
Age's Genshin icon looks like he got another 5-star.
Oh.
So I don't know. I don't know if he has the funds to gamble on this. If he had the funds to gamble on Genshin.
I do, but I just don't want to.
Okay. Gambling is not good, kids. But we do have a staff. Yeah, Bo. The exotic Daredevil staff is pretty solid for Goku. For a Goku cosplay. But any further thoughts on the patch at large, or are we good to move on, friends?
I'm good.
Yeah, good to move on.
Cool. Now, This next bit is something that I love seeing. This is right up there, along with learning from the Foley guys about how they did the sounds for the Phoenix Wing gliders. We've got Linsey Murdock's 4 rules of cooking. So in a thread on the official Guild Wars 2 forums, somebody asked a question about what informed the process of making food recipes in Guild Wars 2.
Mm-hmm.
So Fire Attunement actually contacted lead designer Linsey Murdock, who was the person who was in charge of food and recipes for the launch of Guild Wars 2.
Mm-hmm.
And she has 4 rules. She came into the thread with 4 rules for... okay, let me just read straight from her. So I personally designed all the food recipes for launch, and there were a few principles that I went by and a process I used to do, some of which is carried forward through all the development and cooking since launch. Rule number 1. We do not eat the sentient creatures of Tyria. There is no char steak, no grawl chops, hylic legs, centaur loins, harpy wings, tengu drumsticks, or quaggan blubber in any cooking recipes. There might be something named for a creature like Etten stew, but it is not made out of Ettins. Now, a discerning person might say, excuse me, what about choya spines? Well, that is a story. Choya were originally not a sentient creature, and the rewards team planned to have them pretty heavily in cooking recipes for Path of Fire. Cactus is good eats. But then, we found out that the choya had villages and danced in circles. To me, that indicated a society and took them out of the running for food. However, it had already been built and accounted for in the economy balance, and we didn't have the time to redo all that work. So we renamed everything to use choya spines, which are the needles they shed. We decided this would be okay because we decided that harvesting those spines would not harm the choya. It's like fingernails. They regrow. A little flimsy, but it let us sleep at night.
The thing I love about that is this whole time I was thinking choya spines as in like their backbones, like not the little spiny things. Like that's literally what I assumed. I was like, that's kind of weird, but okay.
I really should have not tried taking a drink there.
Sorry.
I was thinking that too, and I was like, do choya even have spines? Like, that doesn't make sense.
They do
And
not.
I'm like, and then it's like, oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I read her post. I was like, oh, I'm a terrible person.
I mean, when they die, they explode, and you can see them. They have no spine. They are fruit. But now you know that instead of they're like vertebrae, you're actually eating their fingernails.
Yum.
Which I don't think makes it any better. Might actually be worse.
It makes it better in that you don't have to kill them to get it, I guess. It's better than just like ripping out a spine from a thing and nomming on it.
Yeah. Which
fatality
kind of makes rule number 2 suspect. No gross food. No monster mystery meat stew. Ideally, it should all be real recipes distilled down to their simplified Tyrian analog. We have had some exceptions to this rule sneak past me. I am but one woman. I was not able to stem the tide of candy corn brittle.
All the candy corn recipes. Oh.
Just candy corn in general. Bleh. Bleh. But, no gross food, but choya spines. I don't know about that. But rule number 3, and this one I love from a design standpoint. Avoid single-use base ingredients as much as possible. I really tried to make sure that if I was going to include a particular vegetable or herb or what have you, it would be used in multiple recipes.
Yep.
Yes. If you have ever heard me talk about Greg Tech on any of the Minecraft streams, it was a mod to Minecraft that made so many extra steps that were just one item that you had to use to get to the next step, and it was the only thing that item was ever used for. So it was just unnecessary complications and inventory clutter. Much like, these fragments of tokens for the Lunar New Year.
Right.
But finally, rule number 4: avoid made-up ingredients. I made a fundamental decision to use real-world vegetables, fruits, and herbs without renaming them into Tyrian versions. I did this because I wanted to take advantage of players' real-world knowledge of food to help train them on how to make food in Guild Wars 2. Again, a few exceptions stuck past me, like winterberries, and one exception I personally made affordance for, which is omnom berries, because it amused me. Fun fact, the icon for omnom berries looks like a mangosteen, which is a tropical fruit that I got to try on a trip to Hawaii once. So omnom berries, no real-world name, but have a real-world analog.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who knew?
It's really that one part was interesting because I did, when I was leveling cooking originally, I did use my knowledge of baking and cooking to figure out a lot of the recipes. Like, well, what would this probably be? Or, like I loved that aspect.
I agree. Like that's the only thing I think I dislike about cooking is the fact that the only 4 items per crafting recipe is a problem.
Yeah, with some of the recipes where there's a lot more things.
Like it's just there's so many steps in cooking that it's just the inventory explosion is awful.
Yeah.
But
one thing I noticed, I was reading through the Reddit thread, somebody in there was complaining about how the professions, the way they were set up in cooking in particular from launch, were terrible. And I was like, I mean, sure, that's your opinion, but personally for me, like in games, in MMOs in particular, I tend to not like professions, and I always really enjoyed Guild Wars 2 one, especially cooking, because it was interesting. I love the process of figuring out the recipe and all of that. So
the discovery system, I think, for crafting has been one of my favorite things in crafting in an MMO I've ever experienced. And I'm actually kind of disappointed that they kind of stopped really utilizing it.
yeah.
So
I mean, like, I used to spend just like hours trying different combinations of things I had to make sometimes. And I like that. It was interesting.
But the one bit, and this is the final bit, is them's the rules and now the process. Every single recipe in the launch game is based on a real recipe. You can make this stuff at home. There is an asterisk here where Fire Attunement adds some editorializing. Linsey is correct. A lot of Guild Wars 2 players have done exactly this, and then he provides links to Pixelated Provisions and Terrible Trio Creations, who actually have real-world recipes for Guild Wars 2 recipes.
Yeah. Although one of them apparently has a recipe for char kebabs or whatever, which is clearly not a recipe in the game.
No. Well, it's probably, char branded, something they'd serve at Meattoberfest.
Right.
Again, I wanted to let players rely on real-world cooking knowledge to help them discover food recipes. Admittedly, the launch game cooking recipes are largely to my personal taste. There's a lot of recipes in there that are my personal favorites, friends or family favorites, or classic Western favorites. There's even more than one family recipe in there. I also wanted there to be a lot of simple, obvious recipes, like meat and bread should make a burger. Add cheese and you have a cheeseburger. For the less obvious recipes, I use the same kind of process that I use when I want to cook a recipe I have never made before. I search the internet for at least a dozen versions of the recipe I have in mind, and look for the elements that seem to be the common core elements of the recipe. If one home cook likes to put in some kind of weird out-of-left-field ingredient in a pretty normal recipe which makes their version unique, I did not include such things. If 10 out of 12 recipes use lemon juice, but one uses vinegar, and one is all about lime, I'm using the lemon juice. Common denominators, people. So that's it.
Yeah.
There were some other bits of madness, like how certain types of buffs were related to certain types of food, like pies are healing, spicy things relate to conditions, and magic find is found on other sweets. This is less important to the questions, and more important is not a rule, because once a pile of other designers that weren't me started making recipes, my madness fell apart, and there aren't as clear delineations of what buffs go into which types of food.
Yeah. I love that was originally a thing, because I never noticed, to be honest. I never realized it, but that's awesome.
I sadly ignored cooking for the most part until I got to a point where I was actually paying attention to end game stats and stuff.
Mm.
But that's just because I didn't ever take the time to level cooking until I was like, oh, I should probably do this so I could, you know,
Right.
be better at the stuff that I'm failing at. But that's Linsey Murdock's 4 rules of cooking and a little more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to keep those links for the recipes because those will be interesting to try out. So for anybody listening on YouTube, the links are going to be, the link to the forum post is going to be in the description. You can follow the forum post to get the links to Pixelated Provisions and Terrible Trio Creations to see if you want to try out the recipes for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But before we move on, any final thoughts? I would take that as a no. Now this show, it's not as fast as last week because we already eclipsed that timestamp, but it is pretty fast. So speaking of speed, Hardstuck, MightyTeapot's guild, has recorded a new Tequatl kill speed run.
Ooh.
We're gonna grab the Reddit thread for chat here, but Hardstuck has recorded a 4-minute and 32-second Tequatl kill.
Wow.
That Reddit thread has a video, so you can watch them do it.
That's awesome.
Tequatl in 4 minutes and 32 seconds. That is bonkers.
Yep.
And I didn't have, like, I saw it come up on my YouTube feed earlier in the week. I didn't have a chance to watch it, but that is just ridiculous. Oh, they shaved Tavik is saying in chat, they shaved 2 minutes off of it from when they were doing it previously. That is crazy. I think the only other time I remember seeing something like that was early Wrath of the Lich King with Obsidian Sanctum. It was like a 2-minute, 30-second kill in the 10-man version, and it was a tank, a healer, and 5 Fury Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have to watch that to see what kind of ridiculous comp that they had to do to get this. Because I have to imagine they were doing something very specific. But that's awesome to see. So, you know, grats to Teapot and the members of Hardstuck on their new world record. Crazy.
E.
But I think that's going to be it for this week, unless either of you have any further comments or had anything else to discuss.
No, I got nothing else.
Okay. Well, actually, you know, it was something Deo mentioned in the production channel for the Discord we have for Talking Skritt. And it's just been something that's been knocking around in my head, so I kind of wanted to ad hoc throw it in here at the end. And the question that stood out to me was, what don't you want to see in End of Dragons? So what specifically, and this could be story, it could be mechanics, it could be map design. It's like, and it could even be from any other games. Like, for example, in the general chat of the Mad Realms Discord server, link down there for if you're not in, you can join in gaming discussions and all that. One of the people on our server, Angira, was talking about Star Citizen just kind of randomly adding survival mechanics to it, which seems kind of out of left field because I always thought Star Citizen was supposed to be entirely about flying a spaceship in space.
Right.
So
it's a simulator, space sim, pretty much.
So it's just gone full space sim instead of that, which is the last time I've looked at it, which means that they are 50% closer to releasing. But when your release date is infinity, But that's kind of like, if they were to suddenly add like more environmental stuff that you had to deal with in Guild Wars 2, I think that would be a problem. I would not. You don't want another Sunspear's base in Cantha, ZeKrioX. Okay. I don't know. I really liked Sun's Refuge. I was disappointed that it was only really used for one story mission. So
that was the way they talked about it. It sounded like it was supposed to be like housing,
Right.
but for like your base, and that sounded cool, but it didn't turn out to be that. It just turned out to be do these extra quests to add little things in there. I'm like, that's it. So
I was really kind of disappointed with how that turned out. It like had so much potential. Like I went back there recently and was like, oh yeah, this thing.
Yeah.
What? I kind of don't want them to add a new feature, because you know how they add always a new kind of like system, like the bounty system was new for Path of Fire. I kind of want them to not do that, unless it's going to be part of the base game. So, like for example, if they add alliance battles for PvP, that'd be fine with me.
If they carried over one of those systems into End of Days, would that End of Days?
Yeah,
End of Dragons.
I would say utilize stuff that you already have and just improve on it, rather than just make a whole new feature that you have to manage, because you have really good features. Like the bounty system is just, it really isn't enticing to me, just because I feel like I just do it once for an achievement and that's it. But guild missions could use an update, just somehow. Like, just improve on the stuff that you have, and I feel like, I mean, just work off that. And I guess what I'm saying is I don't want any new PvE features.
Like no new PvE systems.
No new PvE systems.
Okay.
Outside of what you have.
Yeah, I can see that, because I mean, we already have like open world. We have a lot of good open world content, because bounties exist if you have the people that want to do their champ farm. You've got fractals, you've got raids, you've got strike missions, you've got meta maps, you've got explorable maps.
There's a lot, and they can just bring back or revitalize stuff that they have, and it's like, oh, I do remember this existing. Oh, they improved on this. Oh, this is really fun. I might like do this every now and then now. I feel like you get more bang for your buck that way, but yeah, we'll see.
You know, Gift, you bring up reputation systems. I kind of wish that they kind of already have reputation systems in the game with the 4 legions in Drizzlewood. Which I think is probably the best implementation of a reputation system I've ever interacted with.
Right.
Because you get progress to it by just doing something in... Do we want hearts again?
I was fine with not having hearts. I was not one of the people complaining we needed hearts.
I'm one of those people who don't care if hearts are in or not, honestly.
I can kind of, like, I didn't mind their implementation in, what was it, Season 3?
Season 4? 2.
Wherever it's the daily.
Yeah, Season 2, I believe.
Yeah, I didn't mind that, because that just kind of directed you in an area to do the things, and then you unlock the vendor, and the vendor had daily stuff you could buy. So it kind of made sure that there were people in the zone. I don't mind that. One-off, I don't think hearts as they were in the original release of the game should never return. But then again, I also found myself just kind of completing hearts just kind of by being in the map.
Oh no,
So
S2
Yeah.
is still always. Yeah, you're right. S3. Sorry.
yeah, so I don't mind the current iteration of Hearts. It just kind of happens. So
The only thing I mind about them is sometimes when I'm looking to figure out what I haven't done on the map yet, it it makes it a little harder to tell just like quick if I've done a heart or not.
right.
I mean that was one nice thing about the old system. Once you're done, it's done, and then anytime you look at the map, you could see what you had. Um, I mean it's not terrible the way it is. Ways around that and figuring that out, but nonetheless, it's just one of the few aspects of it that bothers me a little.
Yeah, I don't know if the heart has a different icon if you've completed it once and it's just empty for the day. But like you're at 3 of 4 for the map and it's just like, okay, which one of the
Yeah.
4 hearts have I never done?
I think if I'm remembering correctly, I think if you mouse over the heart, there's an indicator that lets you know you've already. It's not just you can just look at all of the map and know.
Yeah. For me, despite the fact that we spent a majority of last week's after show talking about elite specs, and we talked about a lot of like East Asian themed stuff, like samurai and ronin and spearmen and ninjas and stuff and monks. I actually don't want to see any stereotypical Asian elite specs.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Because as their implementation is in the real world, would it have happened the same interior?
Right.
Which makes sense.
So
I mean, there aren't any stereotypical ones in Alona for Path of Fire, so I guess it'll follow the same suit. It'll have like a different name, maybe a similar aesthetic, but a different name.
Yeah.
and I don't mind it being like a similar aesthetic because as long as it makes sense. Like I know people
Right.
say Dragon Hunter doesn't make sense, and I'm like, you have to look at the mechanics of the profession. It's about taking down large creatures.
Right.
We were fighting fucking dinosaurs and dragon spawns in the jungle. So Dragon Hunter
Right.
moving into Heart of Thorns made sense. Firebrand was, I think that was based on the remnants of the Sun Spears. Like that was the lore behind the spec. So that made sense. Just as long as it makes sense to find people with that profession in
Yeah.
Cantha.
Well, I like what they did more in Path of Fire, where there was more information about how that style evolved and why they do made it feel more integrated into the game. Actually, I hope they move that forward with future ones too.
Yeah.
Because with Heart of Thorns, like you had to kind of make up the reasoning of yourself outside of the game. There was no like real, oh hey, you're a what? Why you do things that way? Kind of thing.
Yeah, there was no like who's the first person who picked up a war horn and decided to be a tempest.
Right.
Yeah, and ZeKrioX is bringing up the example NPCs, which I think
Yeah.
were all in like the first map of Path of Fire, and they were all like focused around events that were near.
I didn't think they were all there. I thought there was a couple we didn't see until we got into one of the second maps.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. It's been ages since I've played that.
Ice Root Saga maps lets you feel like you can go anywhere without being. Well, that's a good point, ZeKrioX. That's meta maps in Heart of Thorns. You literally could not get places unless you progressed the meta to a certain point.
Right.
Like I know you can't get a smoke scale in Heart of Thorns without progressing the meta to a certain point. I know you have to. I'm pretty sure you have to finish Dragon Stand to get a tiger. So, oh, the Weavers in the last, they were all over the place. Okay. So that's
Okay.
that was my thing. Age doesn't want to see new PvE systems. I don't want to see stereotypical elite specs. Arlie?
I'm pretty much open for most of the things you guys mentioned not wanting to see. I'm on board with. My biggest thing really is I don't want to see them move too far away from what the core of the game is. Like if they made it like where there was competition between players and a map resources or like tagging or anything like that, that would be terrible. And I don't think that. But
You don't want to see
that's
a map suddenly become a battle royale.
yeah. And like I don't want to see the things where like you're instead of being like, "Oh, there's other players." Okay, like saying, "Oh, shoot, there's another player. I need to go get that thing before they do." I don't want to ever have that in first two. That would be like the one thing they could do that would the game for me.
Okay.
I
don't want
do want See, I'm on the other side. I do want them to ignore the Tengu hype train.
Oh, Arlie is anti-Tengu. Okay.
I am. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a like an after show topic. So I think it's time for the good old outros. So Arlie, where can they find you?
On Twitter and Instagram at Arlie82, and then Thursday evenings from 7 p.m. Central to 10 p.m. Central, I stream my World of Warcraft raiding streams. We're progressing through heroic. It's been exciting and crazy.
I'm so sorry.
It's fun. This raid tier is actually fun. I'm enjoying it. Not like raids in the last expansion. This is World Splitter.
Oh, that's good to hear. So, Age, where can they find you?
Find me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at Age Night Road. Playing a lot of Apex and Genshin. I still need a level up in BDO. Trying to. I got some good roaming in Guild Wars too, so I might try to find a day to do that. I think I just need to do it not on Friday before reset.
Did you know that we could play together this week?
Yeah. Against the Blackgate.
It's just we'd be able to play Where's Age, and we could all log on to our Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I can still kill you.
It's what I figured it would be when I talked about the new linkings last week. And I suppose you can find me on Twitter at MelphanusMMO. You can find me live here on twitch.tv/MadRealms every Tuesday for random game stuff. I think we're going to continue Operation Help Arlie Do Things with Twilight Arbor, because she has apparently never done Twilight Arbor.
Well, like redone it when they did the thing. Like I've done it, but then they did the whole thing of it where you had to do it to unlock the tracks and stuff. Apparently, I never did that.
5 years ago.
Dude, I had no reason to go back there.
She has her list, and it's a long list. Cut her some slack. But and then you can also find me live here on Twitch on Thursdays for ranked Guild Wars 2 PvP. I am playing an engineer. I was playing a flamethrower build. I am going to be forsaking the flamethrower build because it is just not as fun as I wanted it to be. I really want to love flamethrower, and I just can't. I just can't get it to work for me. But still engineer, so we're going to stick with that, and I hope to see you there, and we'll be back live on next Saturday for Talking Skritt. So that's it for this week, folks. I hope you all have a fantastic evening, and we will catch you later. Good night, everybody.
Yes.